Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we are trying to work with the arrays concepts here. So in that array concepts here, we identify one-dimensional array as well as we identify the two-dimensions array here. So the difference is we identified with the one dimension and two dimensions array. If you observe here, so this is indicating our one dimensions array example. Basically, in the one dimensions array, now what we are doing here, so just we are opening one braces here. With the help of this particular one braces here, now what we are trying to implement here. Now, if you see, based on this particular basis, we are trying to add the particular value. So what we want to store inside this particular arrays here. And same way, come back to here when we are trying to work with a two dimensions array. When we are trying to work with this particular two dimensions array, now what we are doing here, we are creating two particular braces here. With help of this particular two braces here, now what I'm doing here, I'm providing here I'm trying to provide. So first one is a row and second one is a column here. So based on this particular row and column, we are implementing we are trying to insert the data into this particular two dimensions array, right? And same way we discuss about the particular three dimensions example here. So we discuss about the three dimensions example in our IDE. So we discuss in the last session how it is going to work on the three dimensions array example. Okay. Now, so today we are going to discuss about the operators here. So what are the operators we are going to have in our Java language and how each operator is going to work. So this is our today class we are going to discuss here. For this particular operators here, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to work with one more class here, something called, what is the name of the operator class we can take? Something called basic math here. Getting the point. So basic math I'm going to write here, public static void main and string args here. Getting the point. Now here, if you understand here, what are the operators we are going to have in our Java language here? So basically, we'll have a arithmetic operators here and some relational operators we are going to have and some logical operators we are going to have. So these are the different operators we are going to have. So in that this particular operator, we'll try to identify the arithmetic operators here. So but the name of the operator is giving the information how we can work on the basic mathematic related operators with help of our Java language here. Getting the point. Now we need to understand here how we can implement the basic mathematical related examples here. So now if you understand here, we are going to work with the symbols called addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. Along with these four, we are going to work on the module operator, and along with the module operator, we'll try to work on the increment and decrement here. So let's see. So this the four operator we are already familiar with this particular operators here. Sorry, getting the point. So these are we don't want to discuss more about this particular operator because we are already familiar with this particular operators. And so this is the module operator we need to identify how it's going to work. And this section code, we are going to call it as a increment here. Getting the point, increment. And the same way we can work on the decrement operator. Right. And along with this, we'll have a additional operator. So for example, this, sorry. So this kind of operator, we are going to call it as a addition assignment here. Basically, we'll call it as a assignment operators here. If you understand here, plus equals. Getting the point, plus equals. Same way, now you can focus here, minus equals and multiplication equals and so division equals. If you focus here, these are the appropriate assignment operators here. Now if you see the first one, this is the assignment operator and this is the subtraction operator here. Getting the point, subtraction assignment operator and so this section will provide the multiplication assignment operator and the final one, so division assignment operator. So we already identified these are the subtraction and multiplication, some division related example. The remaining we need to understand here. So we'll try to include the all the operators. So with help of this particular operators, we'll try to work on the simple example here. So this is, I want to provide the what are the operators we are having inside this particular Java language here. Now what we will do here, I'm trying to write the simple example here. With help of this particular all operators, we'll have a simple example. So let's see how we can define here. Now we already identify the data type here. Now the same data type I want to use for the numeric data type, so which we used earlier. So that is called integer. Int a is equals to 1 plus 1. Int a is equals to 1 plus 1. And now int b is equals to now what I'm doing here? Say a multiplication 3. Int b is equals to a multiplication 3. And int c is equals to so b by a. And into d is equals to c minus a. Into d is equals to c minus a. And so if you want to work with any other operators like into e is equals to minus d. Into e is equals to minus d. So now you can see how we are trying to work on the basic mathematic operators here. So like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So these are the basic operators we are using here. So with help of this particular basic operator, now what we will do, we'll try to print the all the values here. We'll try to print the all the values here. So how I'm trying to print here, it's like in A value, B value, C value, and D value, and E value. So these are the basic values I'm going to print here. So A, B, C, D, E, right? And here also we need to change here. Getting the point. So these are the basic example we need to understand here. So let me save this example and we'll compile the example. So to compile this, now what we need to write here, we need to go to the folder. So where we are trying to save the all the example here. So here we are trying to save the example. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to work with the Java C command, basic math.java. Now you can see what happened here. So reached the end of the file. So now here if you see, we forget to close the particular braces which we open earlier here. Now what we can do, so we need to close here. Go back to our example. Now you can close here, and this is also we need to close here. Getting the point. So this is the particular error we need to understand here. Now you can see reached the end of the file while parsing here. So what is the end of the file we have? Because we are like we closed with a semicolon, but once we close this particular semicolon, here we don't have the statements here. But now what it will do, it will try to check for the next line here, and here we don't have a next line. But if we are not having any next line here, we need to close up with the braces what we opened earlier here. Okay, now we close the two braces here. Now let me compile one more time. It is compiled successfully. It is compiled successfully. Now what you need to understand here. Here I'm trying to execute this particular example called basic mathematics here. Now you can see A value we are having 2 and B value we are having 6 here, and C value 1 and D value -1 and E value 1 here. Getting the point. So these are the values we are getting here. Now how we can understand here, so we'll try to focus here by seeing this example how we are going to provide the values here. Let's see. Now you can see, so a value, a1 plus 1, a1 plus 1 we are having, so it will become true. So a value we are having 2 value. Getting the point. And what we can do here, we can make a value 2. And now we are trying to work with the b value. Now what is the b value we are having here? The b value we are having the some expression here. What is the expression we are having? See, a multiplication with 3 here. So what is the a value we are having? The a value we are having as a 2. And now what we are doing here, we are trying to multiply it with the 3. Right. So it will become 6 here. The b value we are getting 6 here. Now what we need to write here, c value. So to find out the c value, first we need to understand the b value. What is the b value we are having? 6. And now you can see the b value is trying to divide with the 4 here. Is trying to divide with the 4 here. Now what we can understand here, we are going to get the particular value something like 1 here. So why we are going to get 1 here? Because the 4 is going to, like, with help of this particular division section, now we are having the 4 ones are 4 and here, so we are going to get the 2 here. But whatever this particular the quotient value we are going to have, so this particular value we are going to store as a c value here. Getting the point? So this particular c value, it will become 1 here. Now we identify the c value. Now what we need to understand here, d value. So come back to the d value. First what we need to understand here, c value. So c value will become 1 and a value. So what is the a value we are having? 2. Now if you see, now if you observe here, the d value is that if you want to find out the d value, now what we are doing is, we are trying to do some subtraction with help of this particular a value. So now if you see 1 minus 2, 1 minus 2, the d value will become minus 1 here, because the a value we are having 2, so we are trying to subtract the a value from the, like, c value from the a value, so that we are going to get to minus 1, and finally we are having minus d. So here with help of this particular minus d operation, it will become 1 here. So this is all about all the values. Now if you see, so even though after extracting the, or after execution the each and expression, we are getting the same expected value. So what are the values we identified our command prompt here? Right. Once we executed this particular example, we identified the same value, and now you can see, so the same value we are trying to execute it manually. So this is, we need to understand the basic example how it is implemented here. Getting the point? So we need to understand the basic arithmetic related example how we implemented here. Right. Now we'll try to work with a different example here. In the same class, we'll try to add so different information. So let's see, we'll try to clear all the example here. So back to here, now what I want to write here, I want to define one more variable here, something like int a is equals to, I want to work same value 1 plus 1, and int ab is equals to, okay, so instead of working on the same here, now what we will do, so we'll try to change the values. So instead of int here, now I want to move double here. I want to change double here. So double A and double AB, AC and AD and AE. Getting the point? Now if you understand here, so double A, AB, AC and AD. Getting the point? Now we'll try to focus on what are the values we are going to get for this particular double data type here. We need to understand each and every value for this particular the data type we are using double here. So previously we connected with int. Now we are trying to connect it with our double data type here. Okay. So I'm trying to save the example. Now we'll compile the same example here. So it is compiled successfully. Now I'm executing here. Now you can see, okay. Okay. So far now you can understand here, these are the example we already identified, A value. And now you can see what are the particular double data type values here. Now you can see here we are having 1 A, but here we are getting approximate value here 0.5 here. So basically this is the correct value, but because of our data type here, so we are showing one value. But when we are trying to work with a double data type here, now what we understand here, so the double data type will handle the fraction values here. So because of this particular fraction values here, so what is the exact value we are having, the particular value we are going to get here. So this is, we need to understand all the values here. This is, we need to understand the values here. So this is the addition value, and this is the multiplication value, and this is the division value, and finally we are having subtraction value, and we are trying to converting into the normal value here, from the subtraction value into normal value. Getting the point. Now, so this is, we need to understand the int data type as well as double data type here. Now we'll try to work on the module operators here. Getting the point. So these particular basic arithmetic operation we identified. So far, these are the 4 operators we implemented here with help of the different data type. Now you can work with the remaining data type, like you can work on the byte, short, long, as well as float. So if you are familiar with char also, we can work here. Basically, char and int, so both will perform same, but only the difference here, the char will understand the values which is stored inside the particular ASCII value here. So based on the ASCII value, it will try to perform the all operations here. So this is, we need to understand here. Getting the point. So this is, we need to understand here. Now if you understand carefully, now if you understand here, we'll try to work on the module operator. How you can implement this particular module operator here. How you can work on this particular module operator here. Let's see. So we'll try to work on the same example with help of this particular module operator. Now what we can do, here I want to write into MOD. So MOD is nothing but module operator. 42 I'm giving here. Getting the point. So 42 I'm giving, and same way we'll work on the double data type here, and what we can provide here, so MO. For this particular double data type, I want to give as a MO, and for this particular int data type, I want to give as a MOD as a name of the variable name here. Right. Now we can take any variable name here, but only except the particular keyword which are available inside this particular Java language. Right. Now if you see this particular value, I want to give as a 42.25. So int value I given as a 42, double value I given as a 42.25 here. 42.25 here. Okay. Now understand here what I'm doing here. System dot out dot println method I'm trying to use to print this particular value. Now if you see, and directly we can provide as a mod value. To find out this particular mod value, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to work on the modulo operator I'm using here, and with which value I'm trying to perform this particular module operation. So this is with help of this particular 10, I'm trying to perform the module operation, and here, so I will try to change with KMO. Here I will try to change this particular value here. Now if you see how this particular module operator is going to work. So this is, we need to understand here very carefully here, and here we are going to identify what is the value we are going to get. So based on this particular expression, so what is the expression we are using here with the help of this particular module operator. So let me save this example, and we'll try to compile one more time. So to compile here, first we need to clear the console, and I'm compiling. Now I'm trying to execute here. Now you can see this particular mod values for this particular into data type we are getting 2, and for this particular double data type here we are getting so 2.25 here, 2.25. So what you need to understand here when we are trying to work on this particular module data type. So let's see. So basically this is we need to understand here. This is we need to understand here. Getting the point? And here, so this particular 10 value we are trying to so divide with help of this particular 42. And now you can see what is the value we are going to get here. So whatever the remainder value we are going to get here, this particular remainder value will return by the remainder value will return by this particular mod operator. This particular division operator will provide the particular value of quotient. Getting the point? So don't confuse here. Module operator will provide the remainder value. So it's nothing but this, right? And this particular section will provided by our so division operator. Getting the point? And here what we need to understand here, module operator. So this is the difference between module operator and so division operator. Basically this will provide the more information when we are trying to work on some logical related example here. So logical related example here, what is the value we are expecting? Either we are expecting the quotient value or we are expecting the remainder value. So based on this particular expectation, we can use the different operator. Getting the point? So based on this particular reminder, the module operator will return here. In the current example we are having, for int data type we are getting 2, and for double data type we are getting 2.25. Because the double we discuss here, it will handle the so precision values here, right? Let's see, we'll use a different example here. We'll go for the different example, and so simple example we identify the module operator. Now we'll work on the arithmetic assignment operators here. How this particular arithmetic assignment operators are, we can work on the component operators also we are going to call. We'll see this simple example here. So to work on this, what we can do, so we'll go for the different classes. Class here, now what we need to understand here, operator equals here. Something like AGS. Getting the point? So we can take any name for this particular main method parameter here. So not only the particular args, you can take your name also. Basically, this is the indicating a name of the particular variable here. Except this particular keyword, we can take any name here. Now understand here, we are going to work on the particular the operators call. Now we identified the basic operators and module operator we identified, and we'll discuss this particular increment section. But now what we need to understand here, this particular the 4 operator now we are going to implement here. Now we are going to implement this particular 4 operator. So something like arithmetic assignment operator, same like subtraction, multiplication, and division assignment operators here. So back to here, how we can write here. Let's see, again I'm trying to take into data here. Int a is equals to 1, and into b is equals to 2, and into c is equals to 3, into c equals to 3 here. But if you understand here how I'm writing here, a plus is equals to 5. Getting the point? A plus is equals to 5, and the same way, so b multiply is equals to 4. B multiply is equals to 4. And what I am doing here, so C plus is equals to A multiplication B. So C plus is equals to A multiplication B. And finally, and here, now what I am doing, I am trying to work with the modulo operator. See, modulo operator is equals to 6 here. See, modulo operator 6 is equals 6 here. And same way, we can print the ABC value. And I'm trying to print this particular ABC value. So try to understand here how this particular each and every operator will work internally. How this particular each and every operator will work here. If you see, if you observe carefully here, so we will identify here this section what it will do internally. So A is equals to A plus 5. A is equals to A plus 5. So internally this is the conversion will happen internally. Whenever we are writing the line number 6A, internally this is the conversion. And now we identify the what is the A value we are having? A value 1 and 1 plus 5, 6. Now this particular A value will become 6 here. Now if you see B value, now if you understand here B, so B multiplication with 4 here. Initially, but what is the B value we are having? 2. And if you are trying to multiply the value. Now what is the B value we are going to add? What is the B value we are going to get? The particular B value we are going to get as a 8. Now we can see C. So C is equals to C brace we are going to add, getting the point. So C plus here, sorry, I missed here, let me remove here. C plus here I am trying to work with A multiplication B. What is the A value we are having? 6 here. And what is the B value we are having here? 8. So whatever the multiplication value we are going to get, and we are trying to work with C value. Getting the point. And finally, we are trying to work on the modulo operator. So how we are going to work on the modulo operator? Here, C modulo of 6. C modulo of 6. And whatever the final output we are going to get, and we are trying to assign into this particular 6 here. We'll try to assign into the 6 value. And finally, we are going to get the particular some value as a 3 maybe. So we'll give you the random number because so based on these two operations we are going to get the some value here. Based on this particular two operations we are going to get the C value. But what we need to understand here, whenever we are trying to work on this particular operator, internally the compiler will convert to this particular way here. So this is we need to understand carefully. If you convert to this particular example, so we can see what is the value we are going to get here. What is the particular value we are going to get? Okay, now we'll try to run the same example here. OP equals Java C OP equals dot Java and Java OP equals. Now if you understand here, A value we are getting 6 here, the particular B value we are getting 8, and C value we are getting 3. So basically the C value internally we are performing two operations here. So first we are working on the with multiplication, and whatever the value we are getting, we are assigning into the C value. So after assigning into this particular C value, so with help of this particular modulo operator, again we are trying to find out the remainder value of 6 here. So what is the value we are going to get? The particular value it is trying to divided with 6 here, and finally we are getting the remainder value here. Finally, we are getting the remainder value. So this is we need to understand here how this particular the assignment operators will work here. Assignment operator will work here. So you can use this, but So this particular assignment operator we are going to use in our real-time examples as well here. Not only the 1, 2, 3. So we may work on the some calculation related example, or when we're trying to work on the some amount related example, so some count related example. So these are this particular operator we are going to use here. These are the operator we are going to use. And finally, what is another operator we are having here? These are the two operators we need to understand here. Increment and decrement here. With help of this particular increment and decrement, how we are going to write the simple example here. So to write this particular increment and decrement, basically, basically, if I want to increment the one value, how we are going to write here? How we are going to write here? Right. So for example, I can write here. So instead of so this particular 5, I can, if I'm trying to write this particular one value, what happens internally? This particular value is going to increment like this. So a is equals to a plus 1. A is equals to a plus 1 here. So a value we are having 1, 1 plus 1, 2. And next time also a value will become 2, a value will become 2, and 2 plus 1, 3. So now you can see, so initially a value 1, a value 1. So 1 plus 1, 2. A value will become 2. And 2 plus 1, 3. Getting the point. And 3 plus 1, 4. But what you are understanding here, whenever we are trying to work on this particular expression, every time one value is increasing. Every time the particular one value is increasing. So instead of writing this particular expression, now what we can do? We can write like this. A plus plus. We can write like this here. So internally, what is the expression is going to use? The same expression what we defined here. What we defined here, same way the values will increment here. And now if you understand here, so a minus minus, a minus minus here. So how we can write here? A is equals to a minus 1. A is equals to a minus 1 here. So this is the internal expression. It will converted here when we are trying to work on the a minus minus here. A minus minus here. So this is all about the simple example on the increment and decrement here. So this section will provide the increment and this section will give you the decrement here. So we'll try to write the simple example on the increment and decrement here. But what we need to understand, internal conversion, the particular expression conversion here. Getting the point? Okay, so back to here, how we can write the simple example here. So to write this particular simple example, now what we can do, I want to write here something like int x is equals to 42 and int y is equals to what I want to write here. So instead of writing 42, okay, we can go for the x plus plus. So this is the simple example I want to write here. And after this, we'll try to write the more example on this increment and decrement here. Increment and decrement here. Now you can see how I'm writing here. So instead of this particular a value, what is the value we can print here? The value we can print as a x here. And instead of b value, we can print y. We can print y. Now I want to compile the same code here. What is the code we want to compile? OP equals here. Compile one more time. Now you can execute here. So now if you see, okay, so I copied here. X value we are getting 43, and whatever the y value, so we assign into the, like whatever the x value we assign into the y value we are getting. Now what you understand here? What you understand here? This particular example. Basically, x value we given as a 42, but the x value which is printing as a 43, and Here we incremented the x value and we are assigning it to the y. But here the y value is not incremented. Y value is not incremented. Basically, we are expecting to see 43 for this particular y, but the particular 43 is assigned to this particular x here. So any idea why it is incremented to the x here? So instead of y here, instead of y, why it is incremented to the x here? Okay, now what we need to understand here, we need to understand the particular value called how we provided the expression. Now if you see x plus plus, so x plus plus is equals to x is equals to x plus 1. X is equals to x plus 1. And here, whatever the x value we are having, we are incrementing with one value. Again, we are assigning into the x here. We are not assigning into the y here. So because of this here, the x value is incremented, but y value is whatever the previous y value we are having, the same y value we are having here. The same y value we are having here. Getting the point. This is, we need to understand here the increment operator here, but inside this particular increment operators here, now, so see the differences here. So see what is the difference I'm going to have here. So instead of x plus plus, now what I'm doing here, plus plus x here, plus plus x here, right? Now I want to compile the same example here. Compile the same example and execute here. Now what you understand here? Now you can see y we are getting 43 and even x we are getting 43. So now you can think about this particular example. So why we got why the y value is incremented to 43 here. Why this particular y value is incremented to 43 here. Okay, now what we need to understand here, basically, so we need to understand the expression. The expression we identified here, every time we will use the same here, x is equals to x plus 1. But when this particular expression is going to implemented, this is important. When we are trying to work on the plus plus x, this section code, we will call it as a pre-increment here, right? And previously we connected with x plus plus. So plus plus x we are going to call it as a pre-increment here, and x plus plus we are going to call it as a post-increment here. Post-increment here. Now what is the difference between pre-increment and post-increment? So pre-increment here, first the value will increment. Whatever the value which is incremented, the latest value is assigned to the y here. So for example, the x value we are having, 42, and now the x value will become 43. After incrementing this particular value, so it will assign into the y. Now the y value will become 43. After incrementing the value will assign into this particular y, because here what is the operator we are using? So y is equals to plus plus x. Y is equals to plus plus x. Now what you need to understand about the post operation here. The post operation here, what happens here? Once whatever the previous value, like whatever the old value we are going to have, once the value will assign into the appropriate variable, it will increment here. It will increment. So in that case, once the y value, the x value will assign into the y, later with help of this particular operator, the x value will become 43. Getting the point? Now, before executing this line of statement, the value increment, the incremented value will assign into the y, but for the post increment here, after executing the line number 14, the x value will incremented here. After executing the line number 14, x value will increment here. So this is the difference between pre-increment and post-increment. Same way, we are going to have pre-decrement as well as post-decrement here. Pre-decrement as well as post-decrement here. So how we can understand these two also? Getting the point. So same way, the pre-decrement here, it will try to decrease the one value. So what is the expression here? Same expression we will use. X is equals to, instead of plus, we are going to work on the x minus 1. Instead of plus here, we are going to work on the x minus 1. And this particular value will assign into the x variable. And whatever the value is decremented, the particular value will assign into the y here. But post decrement operator, previously, what is the value we are going to have? The same value will assign into the y. Later, the value will decrement here. Later, the particular value will decrement here. So now you can see the simple example here. So 42 I'm having here. I'm trying to work on the pre-decrement operator here. So pre-decrement operator here. Now observe here how I'm trying to compile one more time. Compiling here and I'm executing here. Now you can see basically what we need to understand here, the x value we are having 42. Initial value we are having 42. Because of this particular pre-decrement operator here, it will become 41. And whatever the 41 we are having, the particular value will assign into the y here. The particular value which is assigned into the y. So this is, we need to understand about the decrement operator. Now, if you understand here, post decrement operator. Now, see the difference here, the post decrement operator. I want to write the same, like I want to compile one more time and execute here. Now, you can, if you see, here we are getting 41 earlier. Now, the x value is decreased to 41, but y value now you can see, still we are having 42. Still we are having 42 here. The pre-decrement operator, which is accessing for the both x and y value same, but post-decrement operator we are having different here. The post-decrement operator we are having different here. Getting the point? So this is, we need to understand about the pre-decrement operator and post-decrement operator. And the same way we can work on the pre-increment and post-increment operator. Let's see, we'll have a simple example on the this particular increment and decrement here. Well, you need to think about the more, right? So how it's going to work here? Class here, what is the name of the class we can take? Something called increment in decrement. So INDA is nothing but increment and decrement here. The name of the class I'm taking like this: public static void main and here I can work on the string AR. String AR. You can take any name. So because of this, I want to take different names here. Okay, now observe int A is equals to 1 and int B is equals to 2 and into C. I am not initializing the value. Only A and B I am initializing the value. For this particular C, I am not initializing. And the same way, into D. Okay, so instead of making the semicolon, now what we can do, into C is equals to plus plus B and into D is equals to A plus plus. Into D is equals to A plus plus. So what is the output you are trying to think here? If I'm trying to print this particular values, I will copy from the maybe basic math, I guess, right? ABCD. From here, I want to paste here. Okay, now so try to think about this particular output here, and let me know what is the output we are trying to think here. Basically, we are having here the increment operator, and inside this particular increment operator, we are having so pre-incremented as well, post-incremented here. Getting the point? So pre-incremented as well, post-incremented here. Now let me know what you are trying to think here. Okay. So observe here how we can write here. Basically, first we'll define the values here. A value 1, B value 2, and we need to work on the C value. So what is the C value? So now you can see the C value, we are having pre-increment operator. Whenever we are having this particular pre-increment operator here, first it will increment the value, and whatever the incremented value we are having, the particular value will assign into the C. Now B value will become 3 and C value also 3. So why the C value we are getting 3 here? Because of what we need to understand, pre-increment operator here. Because of this particular pre-increment operator, we need to understand the incremental value. Okay, now understand here this particular, so D value, A plus plus. So what is the A value right now? A value we are having 1. So can I write like this 2 here? Is it applicable? No, because after executing this particular line number 6 here, the value will increment here. Now, as of now, this particular D value 1, and whenever we are moving into the line number 7, the A value will become 2. A value will become 2. Getting the point? So this is all about the D1 and A value 2. Getting the point? Now if you observe again the line number 7, what is the value we are defining? C plus plus. So C plus plus. Now whenever we are trying to print this particular A value, the C value will incremented here. What is the C value will increment here? It will increment the 4 here. Getting the point? Whenever the line number 8 is executing, so the C value will increment here. Because pre-increment here, first it will increment and later it will move on to the next statement here. But post increment here, once it moved into the next line, the value will increment here. So this is all about the simple example here. Now we'll try to run the same example here. So whether whatever the value we provided, we are getting the same or not. What we can do, we need to compile the code here. So to compile the code, I want to clear the console. And here Java C inde.java. It is compiled successfully. INDE. IND is nothing but increment and decrement here. So 2341. 2341. So we provided the 2341 only, right? So this is the way we need to understand the increment operator and decrement operator. Basically, so whatever the operators we are discussing so far, this operator, when we are trying to work on the logical question, it will give you more here. Otherwise, when we are trying to work on any interview point of view, so when they are having the first round of the online written test, so in the written test also, this kind of example we are going to get multiple times here. So that we need to understand here how this particular operators is working internally. Okay. Now what we will do, we'll move on to the different operators here, because we identify the arithmetic operators here. Now we'll move on to the relational operators here. So what are the relational operators we are going to have, and how this particular relational operators are going to work in our Java language here. So to understand this particular relational operators here, now what I need to write here. So first, what are the relational operators we are having here? First, the what are the relational operators we are having here? So this simple example will give you the more about the all the relational operators. So first one, double equals operator here. Getting the point. So double equal operator, how it is going to work? And another one, not equals to operator. Another one, not equals to operator. And so we identify the greater than operator. And we'll identify the less than operator. And finally, we'll work on the greater than or equals to and less than or equals to. So these are the operator will come under the relational operator section. Getting the point. So whatever the operator we are defining here, this will come under the relational operator sections here. Let's see how we can work on the each and every operator here. So by seeing this particular operators here, now what you understand here? So we are going to comparing the object here, whether the value is greater or whether it is less than or whether it is less than or equals to or less than, how we are going to compare here with help of this particular double equals operator here. Double equals to operator here. Getting the point. Now we'll have a simple example how we can work on the this operator. If you see, this operator will give you the Boolean value here. So this is we need to understand very carefully. This relation operator, every operator will work on the Boolean operators here. It will give you the Boolean output here. Either it is a true or false here. Let's see how we can write the simple example. So how we can write this particular simple example? We'll go to the one more class. Class here and so RO. RO is nothing but a relational operator we need to write here and here also I want to make as a RO. And int A is equals to something like 45 and int B is equals to something like 78 and we'll work on these two variables values here. With help of this particular two variable section, we'll try to perform all the relational operators here. Okay. Now we need to use the condition here. So with help of this particular condition only, we are going to write here. With help of this particular condition only, we'll define the values here. Let's see what is the value we can define here. What is the value we can define? A equals to B. The double equals operator we are using here, A equals to B. And if it is equals to B, now what we will do, we'll try to print the statements here. So system dot println here. Now what I need to write here, A and B values are same. A and B values are same. Getting the point. And I want to write here one more statement here. A not equals to B. A not equals to B. Now what I can do? Copy this particular println statement here. Values are not same here. Or we can work on the not equal. Not equals. Okay. So this is we can write. And if you observe, two operator we are using. First one, double equals to operator we are using. And second one, not equals to operator we are using. And I want to write one more condition. This particular condition, A greater than B. A greater than B. Here I am trying to work on this particular A greater than B. Now what I can do, A greater than B. A greater than B. And I want to write the one more condition. A greater than or equals to B. A greater than or equals to B. Here greater than or equals to B. A greater than or equals to B. And now what I'm trying to write here, A less than B. A less than B. Now again I can write here the message here. I can write A less than B. And I want to write on the A, sorry, less than or equals to B. A less than or equals to B. Now if you understand here, A less than or equals to B, so this is the statement we can print. A less than or equals to B. Anything we are missing here? I hope all the operators we used here, greater than or equals to, less than, and less than or equals to. Now what you need to understand here, so how many statements it will print, we need to understand here. So far we defined here 6 statements we defined here, but we need to understand here how many statements we are going to print here. rvo.java, it is compiled successfully, and Java RO. Only 3 statements will printing here. The remaining 3 statements it is not printing here. So why the remaining 3 statements is not printing here? Now what you need to understand here, getting the point. So the remaining statements here, we returned false value. Only the 3 statements we are getting true, and remaining statement we are getting false here. So because of this particular false here, we are not getting the all the values here. Because of this particular false, now observe which one we are getting. A and B values are not equal. A and B values are not equal. So this statement is not printing because this particular method, this particular expression is returning false here. And the second statement, both are not equal. Why it is not equal here? The A value we are having 45 and the B value we are having 78. So because of this, the line number 8 statement is printing. Both are not equal, and we need to understand here. So this is we identified A less than B. So A less than B. So this section it is printing here. So why this section is printing here? If you understand here, A value we are having 48 and the B value we are having 78 here. 45 and 78. But what we need to understand here, we need to understand here the important information like A value is a lower value compared to the particular B here. Because of this particular low value, the less than and less than or equals to conditions are satisfied here. Less than and less than or equals to conditions are satisfied. So this is we need to understand here. Okay, let's see. So instead of 78 here, now what I'm doing is I'm trying to providing 45. I'm providing 45. Now if you see, again I'm trying to compile and I'm trying to executing here. But now if you can see how many statements we are getting here. How many statements we are getting here? Again, 3 statements we are getting here. So which one we are getting here? A and B values are same. So in this case, so first one is satisfied. So second one is failed here. Second one is not satisfied. So third one also is not satisfied here. A greater than B. And fourth one is satisfied. Getting the point. So fourth one is satisfied, and fifth one is failed, and sixth one is satisfied. Getting the point. So because of this particular section code, again we come up with 3 statements here. we come up with three statements are satisfied. So this is all about the relational operators we are going to use, and each relational operator will provide the some boolean values. Basically, these expressions we are going to work inside the some conditional blocks here, or we are going to work on the some switch cases. If it is returning true or false, or if it is returning some value, we'll work on the some other operations here. Getting the point? Now, so we identified here this particular relational operators, and we'll work on the logical operators here. We'll work on the logical operators here. So how we can work on the logical logical operators here, and let's see how we can work on the logical operators here. So to work on this particular logical operators here, how I'm going to write here? Let me write here. So what are the logical operators we are having first? Here I want to provide comment here. This is the comment. This particular comment we are going to use for the multi-line purpose here, and here we are going to write here multiple lines here. Okay, now how we can write here logical operators here? What are the logical operators we are having? So what we identified here, AND operator, OR operator, and we can work on the OR operator and ternary operator. The question mark we are going to call it as a ternary operator here. Getting the point? So this is very important, the logical operator we are trying to write here, and along with this particular logical operator, so already we identify the equal also will come under the logical as well. Okay, now how we can write this particular diagram? So how to work on this particular diagram here? How we need to prepare here? How we need to prepare here? Let's see, to work on this particular operator, I want to define the something like a table here. This particular table will give you the logical operator information. And here I'm having a value, and here I'm having b value, and here we are going to work on the ARB and A and B and not A. Right? And here A value, B value, sorry, A and B. A and B, oh, we can work on the not here. Not A and not B. Right. And what I'm doing here? So F is indicating false here. If the A value false, now what we need to understand here? So B value also I'm making the false here. A value false, B value false. And what about this particular ARB? ARB we are going to have as a false here. And A and B also false here. Not A. Not A will work on the opposite manner. It both A and B, A value and B value will work as a true here. So these two sections will work on the opposite manner here. If the A value true, it will return false. If the A value false, it will return true. Getting the point? Now understand here. And the second condition, what we are having here, A value true and B value false. A value true, B value false. And A or B will provide the true. And A and B will give you the false. A and B will give you the false. And so not A will making as a false, not B we are making as a true. Not B we are making as a true. And I'm trying to expanding this. Okay, observe here how I'm trying to write here. So second statement we identified. The third statement here, what we need to understand here. So A value false, B value true. And A or B will become true. And A and B will become false here. And A value true and B value false. And the final one, what we need to understand here. So A value true, B value true. So A or B true and A and B true. And this not conditions will make as a false. Not condition will make as a false. So if you understand here, this particular diagram will give you the more information about the logical operators here. So far, what are the logical operators we are using? First one, AND operator. Second one, OR operator here. So here I am using the OR operator, and later I am working on the AND operator. Now what you are understanding this particular diagram? If the A value false and B value false, so both A or B condition and A and B condition both are returning as a false. Both are returning false. And only the difference here, not condition. This particular not condition is returning true here. So we have discussed here, it will work on the different opposite manner here. Okay. And observe the second one, A value true and B value false. Basically, when we are trying to write a condition here. So the simple example I want to write, this is the if condition we are having, and A value I'm trying to write, and here I'm making R condition, and I'm trying to write B value. Whenever I'm trying to write like this here, now what you understand here? Now what you are trying to understand here? A value true, A value true, B value false. Now A or B condition is returning true here. And when we are making the AND condition, which is returning false. So why the A and B condition will returning false? Only except this. If you observe the last one, if you observe the last condition, the last condition only is returning true, and the remaining conditions are returning false. Basically, what I want to provide here, A and A condition, A value we need a true, and B value also need a true value. If both are returning true, then only the particular A and B condition will returning true. So in the remaining cases, every time will return false here. So this is we need to understand about the logical operators here. This is we need to understand about the logical operators here. Okay, so we'll have a simple example here how we can write on the simple this particular example here. Now if you see, let me okay, so we don't want to clear the screen, so we'll understand more about the simple example. And here class I want to write here. What is the name of the class we can write here? What is the name we can take here? Something Boolean logic here. Public static void main string ARS, so something we can make as a aux here. and what is the values I'm trying to define here. And here if you see, we are going to have logical AND operator and OR operators. Basically, it will try to perform the digital AND operators, and it will work on the Boolean 2 operators here. So it will try to work on the Boolean 2 operators. So we just now we discussed about the operand 1 and operand 2 when we are having true or false here. Getting the point. Now observe here the simple example. What are the values we can take here? Something like Boolean A is equals to true, Boolean B is equals to false. I want to make A value true and B value false. Now you can see Boolean C is equals to here A or B. Boolean D is equals to A and B. A and B. So I'm making R condition as well as AND condition. Now what we can do here, so understand carefully here, Boolean E. So this particular E variable here, how this particular value we are going to get. Now if you see here, I'm making not A and B, not A and B, and I'm making one OR condition, and you can see A and not B, A and not B here. Getting the point. So Boolean E is equals to, okay, sorry, I did not add a equals operator here. Boolean E is equals to, now what we are doing here, not A and B, or A not B, A and not B. So in between, if anything is happen here, we are going to get the Boolean value for E variable here, and we can make here Boolean F. F is equals to not A. F is equals to not A here, and what we can do, where we define this, basically here we define the println statements. I just want to copy all the println statements here. Right. So Boolean logic. Okay. Now what we will do, we'll try to understand the each and every println statement. What is the value we are going to get here? Here we try to write the output here. Okay. Let's see how we can write this particular output here. So first, what is the value we are having? A true and B false here. And what about this particular C? So C, we are making the condition called ARB. So now we'll see ARB condition. Here we are having ARB condition. With the help of this particular ARB condition, we'll try to identify the value. If we observe either, so A value true, so this line we can read more, A value true, B value false, ARB returning true here. So what is the C value we are going to get? Here for this particular C value, we are going to get as a true here. We are going to get as a true. Okay, what about this particular D? The D, A value we are having false, A value we are having true, so B value we are having false. Again, so this section only will provide the A and B operator here. But now what we need to understand here, this particular value, so which is returning false here. So now what we can do for this particular D, we can make false here. D value we identified the false, but this expression will give you the more about the E value. Okay, first what we will do, we'll come up with the single brace here. We'll come up with a single brace here. Now you can see a value, not a, not a. So it's nothing but a value we are having true. So it will become false. And operator I'm using internally, and b. So b also false. Now observe. So false, false. It will come up with the first expression. Now you can see a and b operator which is returning false. A and b operator which is returning false. Now the entire expression will become false. Okay, we are having not condition, or condition, sorry, not. Or condition we are having here. Now we need to read this a value. For this particular second expression, a value we are having true. And operator I am using. And operator and not b. Basically, b false we are having and we are making true. We are making true. Now you can see, so this entire expression will become this, right? And here, what is the value we are getting here? True. So first one false, or and t is nothing but true. Now what we need to understand here? So false or true. False or true. So now you can see false, true. False or true. So here the a value false and b value true. And a or b. Here also we are having a or b condition. A or b condition we are having here. Now what is the value we are getting here? So this is the value we are going to get. Something called true. Now for this particular e, what is the value we are getting here? True. What is the value we are getting? True. And how about this particular f? F we are going to get as a false here. F we are going to get as a false here. Getting the point. Now these are the values. So true, false, true, false. True, false, true, false. Right? Now we'll have a example, like we'll try to execute here. Let me copy this. Whether we save the example or not, I'm not sure. This is the R. Okay, the example we saved here with help of the Boolean logic. Oh, we are having. Let me run from here so that we'll understand the outputs here. So I don't want to clear this particular diagram here. First, after identifying the value, we can clear the values here. Java C Boolean logic dot Java. Somewhere we missed a semicolon here. Here we missed a semicolon. Here we missed a semicolon. Right? Now I want to compile one more time. So it is compiled successfully, and Java Boolean logic here. Now understand here. So a and b value already we identified here. A and b value we identified, true and false. But we need to focus here c value. So c value true. So we are having c value true, and d value false. So d value false, and e value true. And now you can see e value true, and f value false. F value false. Getting the point. So this is the way we can work on the Boolean logic operators here, and we need to understand this particular diagram here. This particular diagram will give you the more information here. This diagram will give you the more information about the Boolean logic operators here. Getting the point. Now once we familiar with this particular Boolean logic operator, so we need to understand the assignment operator here. So what is the assignment operator we are having here? So this is, we already identified here something like a ternary operator. Where we defined here something right here. So this ternary operator, this particular ternary operator we need to discuss here. So how this particular ternary operator is going to work. So to understand more about this particular ternary operator, now let me clear this particular console, and here I want to write here. Basically here we are having the expression. We are having the expression. If this particular expression is returning true or false, true or false. If it will return true, what happens internally? We are going to have a question mark. So after the question mark, we'll try to print the value. Whatever after the question mark, we are going to have the value. So this will value executed when this particular expression return true. When this particular expression returns true, and if this particular expression will returning false here, this particular value is executed after colon. After colon, whatever the value we are going to have, this particular value will execute here. Value will execute here. So this is, we need to understand the ternary operator here. So to understand more about the ternary operator here, so for example, here I'm having I value 10. For example, I'm having I value 10 here. Getting the point? Now I'm trying to work with the k value. So k is equals to, I defined here, and I less than 10. I less than 10. I less than 10 here. I less than 10 here. So what is the value we are going to get? Here we are going to get any number, or we are going to get any Boolean value here. Less than 10. So in the above example, now you can see what we identified here. Here, every time we are getting the Boolean values here. This all the example we identified Boolean values here. Right. Same way, here also we are going to get a Boolean value. I value we are having 10, and we are making less than operator. We are checking the less than operator, whether the value which is less than to 10 or not. The value which is less than to 10 or not, we are going to identify it here. But now you can say this is this is not less than 10. So this expression will return false here. This particular expression will returning false. Now what I'm doing here, but if you observe, after this particular expression, I'm making one question mark here. I'm making one question mark here. If after the question mark, if it is a true condition, this particular value which is going to execute, and otherwise I'm trying to work on the colon I value. Colon I value. Right. Now what you need to understand here, I less than 10, and which is returning, if it is returning false here, so this particular I value we are initializing into this particular k here. And if this particular expression will return true, so this I value will initialize into the k. I value will initialize into the k. So this is all about the ternary operator. So this is very much important here. So we'll try to define this particular ternary operator in the real-time example multiple times. We'll work on the multiple times here. The simple example, what I need to write here, if the person object is not equals to null, here we are going to write person dot get member. Otherwise, member we are going to load from the employer dot get member. Getting the point? So this is the different scenario here. Now if you see, we are having person object. Now what I am doing here, person not equals to null. Person not equals to null. I am making one expression here, and after this here I am making the question mark here. If this particular expression is returning true or false, if it is returning true, now what we can do? So beside the question mark, whatever we are going to write. Now for example, person object has reference with the p dot get member, p dot get member, and if it is returning false here, if it is written false here, now what happens here? So employer dot is nothing but e dot get member, e dot get member. So this is a way we can write the real-time scenarios example. Not only this, so we are going to write multiple locations. So this particular ternary operators here. Getting the point? So based on the some values, if the value is not coming from the one object, if the object is not null, we will load. Otherwise, we'll go for the different object loading information. And here, so you can write here something like member m is equals to from person level we are loading the member, and from employee level also we are going to load the member. So this is the different ways. So sometimes what happen here, if the person object not equals null, we can load from the person dot get member. So otherwise what we will do, we'll try to hit the database here. So while calling the another service, we'll try to hit the database and we'll load the objects here. So this is the different example, but here still we are using the ternary operator. Still we are using ternary operator. So this is all about the ternary operators example here. So any questions here? Anyone having any questions regarding our today's session? So far we discussed about the all the operators here. We discussed about the all the operators here. Okay. So if you don't have anything here, I'm going to start the example what we discussed so far, and in our Monday class we are going to work on the control statement here. In our Monday class we are going to work on the control statements here. So control statements will give you the more information about the if conditions, switch cases, nested ifs, and else if conditions. So once we are familiar with this particular uh, control statements, so what we will do, we'll work on the objective creations here. We'll work on the objective creations here. Getting the point. So once we are introducing the objective creations, we'll try to work on the OOPS principles here. How we can work on the particular OOPS principles here. Okay. So this is all about the our today's session here. Now what I will do, so far what are the example we discussed here, I'm trying to upload into the this particular link here. So if anyone wants to access the previous class recorded session here, so just to message me. So I'm going to give you the location where this particular videos we can access here. Where this particular videos we can access here. Okay. So this is all about the simple example and our control statements here. Okay. So we'll continue on Monday.